Oh my gosh. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, this is a super early podcast review that I have decided to get underway. I am Taylor, and this is the episode 6 Chucky spoilers review. A couple of plugs, though, before we get into the good stuff. Check us out on our home base, GeekVerse.ca. Check us out on our social media, GeekVerseCast, our Twitter, GeekVerse on our Facebook. And be sure to check us out on our Patreon because you can get early, ad-free, exclusive content on there. It's a heck of a time. Also, be sure to check out the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. We just did a collaborative episode covering the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer 2 with them. It was a great freaking time. So be sure to check that out. That'll be on the news feed for the first little bit. What else am I missing? There's probably several things I'm missing, but you know what? It's 6 a.m. I just watched Chucky at 5 a.m. Let's get into this. So, where to start? We get right into it with this episode. Again, this is non-spoilers. We get right into it, and it picks up the pieces on a couple questions that we had from previous episodes. It's giving us a fresh dose of Chucky nostalgia again, like these episodes are starting to really dive into, and we get a lot more development, and there's a lot more fleshing out to a degree. And this isn't a spoiler with Junior. There's a lot more family dynamic that's unfolding, and it's definitely creating some interesting pathways. And that's something I'm going to say for spoilers, because I think that we've kind of seen a setup and a goal that Chucky has that's going to unfold. Other than that, again, it's great to see some recurring characters. Great to see some other cool scenes. I'm just super excited off of last week's episode that this week's episode just felt like a great continuation. And it feels like, okay, we're definitely getting to a climactic, figurative goalposts. So I'm looking super forward to what's going to happen and how that's going to unfold. We have two parallel kind of storylines that are slowly merging into one. So it's going to get very good, very good. That's all I can really say without spoiling it. So let's get into some spoilers now. So right off the hop, we got Andy. And who is Andy teamed with? None other than the legendary Kyle, his foster sister. So they're going around, and I love this. They're saying, like, we're doing census for the government, all that stuff. And they get into your house and they ask to see all the questions. They want to see the kids' dolls. And this fooled me because I didn't think that this Chucky doll or this good guy doll was actually going to be a soul infested Charles Lee Ray doll. I thought it was just going to make Andy look more insane. So when they get all the dolls, and then the girl's like, oh, this is my doll Charles. Like, okay, well, Charles is a little odd for a doll name, but it's also Charles Lee Ray, so it could work. And the moment the doll sees Andy and is like, my name is Charles, it just sets up that wonder. But then at the same time, like, no, this is a bad doll. So just he pulls out the gun and starts shooting him, and Chucky's like, fuck you, Andy. The parents are freaking out. So I love this this dual team bounty squad just going at it, looking for Chucky dolls and Chucky souls and taking names. It's really, they're hunting Horcruxes. This show has turned into a Horcrux hunting show because Voldemort, Charles Lee Ray, they're the one and the same, breaking their soul off into different things. So after that, you learn, okay, Andy basically kept that head alive. And I'm assuming the phone call in one of the prior episodes was Kyle coming to snap him out of his little eerie thing his rut he was in, because he had this Chucky head and he was obviously torturing it and getting information out of it. So he knows things, and he knows that one of his soul fragments is inside Nika, and he knows Nika is with Tiff. So that's very intriguing. See how that's going to unfold, because he's trying to find them. He knows there's one last Chucky doll still kicking, and he knows that Jake Wheeler has that doll. So we finally get the two of them to have a conversation, and Kyle is obviously a part of this too. So they have the conversation, and now they know where to go. So hack and saw. That seems like it's the pinpoint of where all this is going. We get more information with Nika and Tiff. We get to see Charles as Nika, and again, Tiff gets angry, blood spurts onto Nika's face, and then that kind of snaps her back into being Nika. So then that kind of picks up the storyline, and she's trying to play it cool. Obviously, Tiff's calling bullshit, though, stabs her in the leg. She doesn't feel anything, so she just plays off that. And we're getting to a point now where Tiff likes Nika more than she likes Charles. So she's trying to figure out a way to, basically exercise Nika, you could say. So that'll be very intriguing to see how that unfolds. And now that we obviously got them living in the house of Charles Lee Ray since when he was a little kid, it's going to be very interesting to see how that dynamic's going to unfold. And again, we got some recurring characters like the realtor lady who got victimized by Chucky first time around. But this is now also interesting. I had thought that when she showed up at the house, Tiff did, and the package was there, I thought, okay, Chucky just mailed himself to Tiff. How is Chucky just able to keep finding good guy doll packaging to hide him? Now I know. They're going to pull some shenanigans. There's going to be one more doll left. Somehow Tiffany is probably going to do the voodoo stuff. Is going to pull Charles Lee Ray's body or soul out of Nika and put it into a Chucky doll. So we're going to, this is where it's going to get good. This is my prediction. We're going to have them show up, them meaning Andy and Kyle. They're going to show up. They are going to help kill this Chucky that is dealing with Jake and Devin and Lexi. And then that's going to work great. They're going to kill it. And little do they know, there's still going to be one more Chucky doll. I think we're going to have the holy hat trick, 3 Chucky dolls. Well, I guess we already had the third one, technically. Okay, the quadruple Chucky dolls. We're going to get that 4th one. I can't think of any other reason why she would order a doll and then she would transfer the soul so she can have Nika all to herself. And that's either going to segue into this doll escaping and being able to sneak off and be free, and then thinking they got everyone. Maybe that's the case. It's hard to actually say for sure. I do think this is going to continue to a second season, and that one doll is going to probably be the cause of it. But at the same time, you have this dynamic with Nika, and I do think that with Nika being hopefully unaware, and that way it can kind of stem and streamline into no one knowing about this other doll except Tiffany. So I think that'll be very interesting to see how that progresses. Oh, what else did we got to talk about? We got another vintage old school scene showing Charles and Tiffany trying to buy a car. I think getting a little sour and killing the man. But that's, again, it goes to show, okay, here's this ride. Here's a little bit of origin. And again, I really do love these flashback sequences. I just think it's so cool to develop the relationship and the characters, especially after what we got in development last week's episode. So again, with this episode, we got a lot more, as I was pinpointing, with development with Junior. The family learns about the mom's cancer. The dad, I feel like, is turning into more like his brother, the dad being Logan. And I do feel like Junior is becoming more and more compromised. Now, we have this setup where they lure Chucky and they're going to try and kill him and everything. But Chucky doesn't go to kill Lexi. He pulls the same thing on her that he pulled on Jake. So Chucky is trying to incite murder. And I'm really trying to figure out why. And now I'm gonna reference Harry Potter again. How do you split your soul? With murder. I mean, Chucky's done it so many times, but maybe he wants to take possession of one of these bodies, and maybe he wants to jump out of the doll into one of their bodies, and so he needs them to commit murder so that their soul is broken and that he can jump into that. It'll be interesting. But this is why I think Junior is becoming more and more a prominent character to be persuaded to kill. I think when he finds out that Chucky is real, he's going to disregard that Chucky killed his mom. I don't think he's going to pay too much mind to that. And he's going to legit become a killer, and he's going to try and kill Jake or Lexi. Well, maybe not necessarily Lexi. He's going to definitely go for Jake, though. Maybe Devin gets in the way of that and somehow gets hurt, which I hope not, because that's going to be really upsetting. He just got his blessing from his mom. God rest her soul. Is super, super sad, though, because things were especially turning around. But that's like classic horror movie sequence. When things are picking up, it's when they get you. So I do think that Junior is going to turn into a killer. So does that mean that Chucky would somehow get into his body? I don't think so. I think Junior's just going to turn into a killer, and we're going to run from that, or run with that. The other way that this could go about is he tries to convince Junior, and we get the same thing with Lexi, like, hey, you want to kill Jake? You know you want to. And then Junior just doesn't agree to it and turns around and beats the crap out of Chucky for killing his mom. Then again, he wasn't able to learn that Chucky was responsible. Jake only told Junior that, hey, I don't think your mom killed yourself, and that's it. But what's he going to do? Think otherwise? I mean, all the evidence would point to that. So he's not going to necessarily just go for Chucky. And Chucky, when he meets Junior, he's not going to say, hey, I killed your mom. You know, he's just going to open with, hey, kill Jake for me. So there's that dynamic. But I do think that Junior's going to become the killer. It's only a matter of time before Andy and Kyle get there. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes for them and what they're going to do. They got to deal with, at this point, I'm going to say 2 dolls, and they have to deal with Tiffany. And then whatever Junior does, that's another thing they have to deal with. What else do we have to talk about on this episode? Yeah, the flashbacks that we got at the beginning of the episode with Andy. That was some good stuff. Went through like many flashbacks of all the films. And I thought that, okay, this woman is Kyle. And it was great to have the confirmation of the flashback sequences. I just love that they brought her back to fight the good fight. I just think it's so cool. What else do we got? Yeah, so Junior broke up with Lexi, so that's really, really, it's sad. And it's another thing that's going to kind of reflect and create this rift for Junior, because ever since Jake came in, and he says it, his life has gone to shambles. Like, his mom is now gone, and his girlfriend doesn't want to spend too much time with him. Like, all this crazy stuff has unfolded, and it's sad. They should have brought in Junior at the beginning, because then they would have avoided a lot of this. But it's unfortunate. So again, it's another thing, another stone in the wall where I think that he's going to be killing. What else do we got in this episode? No sign of Lexi's younger sister, and no sign of really Lexi's family there. We do have Bree, who obviously did die in this episode, and it was really, really sad because she was just looking out the window. She felt good about herself, like, hey, I'm going to take control. We're going to do this together. Like, I'm going to be spending the rest of my time with my family the way I want. And Junior was in the car below. And I've never been in this situation, but I imagine the shock is what set in when she saw Chucky was the one who pushed this cart, but the cart was coming up behind her, smashes into her, and she goes through that glass window, and she is falling, and she smashes into the car that Junior is in. And that would be just, I can't imagine that. Like, that's just insane. That would definitely push anyone over the edge, especially your kid. So on top of that, you also have another death. So Chucky is really killing the parents, and it's going to make it look like it's these kids that are doing it, but he killed Devin's mom. Again, that's, like I said before, it's really, really sad because she knew where to go. She knew where to go find Devin. She went to the Wheeler's house, and Chucky, this is after the little dilemma where he was trying to entice Lexi to kill Jake, and then Devin blasted him with the taser, which was great. I know why, like, Lexi went to tend to Jake after Chucky slid like a fucking legend, dancing queen, slid under Jake, slashed at his leg, and then ran out in the hallway, got tased, which was really, really funny. It's the way his body goes. And then he's just getting back up, could have killed Devin, but he doesn't. He just runs past, laughs, holding the knife and everything like that, hides in a vent. Now, at that point when he was down, I understand Devin trying to boot up his little electrical charger. No, 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 no. Lexi should have just said, Jake, you good? And Jake would have been like, yeah, I'm good. Then Lexi should have ran out, pinned the body to the ground, or just pull the legs off the little bastard, pull the arms off the son of a gun, just detain him somehow. So it's just really unfortunate they didn't, because he got away and they had that chance. He was out, he was unconscious, he was not cold. So that happened. And that's fine. So it fortunately that is the result of leading to the death of Devin's mom. But I'm just going to jump to a quick ad break and then I'll be right back. And we're back. So yes, that is the result of Devin's mom getting killed. And it's really, really sad because she came to us like Jake. She came to, being super okay with their relationship. And I love that we got that final moment. Like, I should have saw it then, that the parents and the kids getting these like happy moments together. This is like right before that they'll probably like bite the dust. And sure enough, she did. Chucky jumped out of the vent and she freaked. And I think Chucky even like bit her on the face a little bit. But yeah, he's doing his ragdoll around on his shoulders and stuff. And she's screaming and she falls down the stairs and she breaks her neck. Ugh. And then after that, Chucky just like darts off. And then this is obviously a heavy toll on Devin now. So the parents are dying left, right, and center. It's crazy. So they create these main character storylines for these parents. And now that they're just dropping like flies and dying, it's like, damn, this is actually really heavy. But it's also going to vindicate the teacher. So you have the biology teacher that was arrested by Devin's mom for, I guess, she's attached to the murder of the principal. I guess her fingerprints were found and everything. Again, it is a school, like she uses in her defense. So there's lots of opportunity to say, hey, my fingerprints are on everything in the school. Well, you can't just automatically assume that I'm the one who did it. Next in line for the job. So there's motive. I understand that. But anyways, this is going to vindicate her because she's arrested. She did not kill the Devin's mom, unless they spin it some other way. I mean, this is where it's really the final countdown now. So with the few episodes we have left, it's going to be expedited. They're not going to go to the cops. And they insinuated that many times in this episode, especially with Andy saying you can't go to the cops. So either Junior's going to come back to the house with his dad and they're going to see Devin's mom. I'm not sure what they're going to do. I just see them kind of going on the run here now and just going all out on Chucky, because what else can you do? Well, I guess she did fall down the stairs. So you could throw that as a defense, because when the cops find Devin's mom's body and she doesn't respond, you can say, yeah, she fell down the stairs, but it's going to be really hard to see what Devin does. But Devin does have that mindset. I mean, as development goes as his character, he's looked all about murders and everything like that. So he might be able to be mentally braced for this, but it still looked like a complete shock to him. And why wouldn't it be? I mean, his parent died. It's horrible. So it'll be very interesting to see how Devin's going to grow from this. And Lexi too, when Chucky made that offer to her, and there's a moment where I thought, is Jake just going to like listen in and hear her say, yes, I'm going to do it? That was the case, but she was just bullshitting. So I'm glad that she won't do that to Jake. So, oh gosh, I think that's everything in this episode. It'll be interesting to see next week the fallout of Tiffany maybe removing Charles from Nika's body, putting him into another good guy doll, seeing what's going to happen with Devin's mom and the trio, what they're going to do now, seeing if Andy and Kyle get there, which I think they're going to save that for the finale. They got to go on a long drive to get there, I imagine. And then what else do we have being set up? Seeing what happens with Junior. So is this other Chucky doll going to reach out to Junior and kind of tip him over the edge and turn him into a killer? We got that in that flashback scene of them at the foster home. Charles, when he was younger, just kind of egging on and pushing this kid to kill. So that is his goal in this show, is to just turn kids into killers. And hopefully no one is tempted and no one caves, because We still haven't seen him go back and chime in with Lexi's younger sister, but I think Junior is probably like the prime target at this point to become the next killer, which I didn't really expect that at first, which is a good thing. That's what a show should do. So yeah, I think that's it. So until next week, Chucky week. We'll see you then. So have a good one. I'm Taylor. We'll see you in the search bar.